here, time for another Irish Pole Dance Academy video blog, and today I'm going to be going through the outside leg hang, also known as the Gemini pose. It is an intermediate move. You need to be able to invert comfortably, that is, get yourself upside down in a pole easily in order to be able to do this move. It's also a foundation move of a lot more advanced inverted tricks and combinations that we will work on later on. So it's really important to get this move down really solid, and it's going to lay the foundations for the rest of your pole work and make your life a lot easier in the long run. So let's go through it. So with your outside leg hang, we're going to start off on the floor to begin with. This is a really good way to build up the confidence with this move and to know exactly where you're going with it before you try it up in the air. Especially if you're practicing at home and you don't have anybody to spot you, then I strongly recommend that you start down here on the floor first. Okay, so we're going to lie down beside the pole. You want your armpit ribcage area next to the pole. Your inside arm is going underneath and your outside hand is going on top, as if you were going to go upside down. So I'm going to lift my hips up nice and high here, opening my legs wide into a swivel. I'm going to get my hips as high as possible up towards the pole. Then the outside leg, the one that I'm waving here on my flexed foot, the one that's further away from the pole, that's the one that you're going to put onto the pole. I'm going to send my knee up and over, turning my hips in towards the pole to get that knee around the pole so I can wrap it nice and tight. The inside leg, I'm going to split away for counterbalance down towards the floor. Now with this outside leg, it is what's keeping you on the pole, so you want to pull that heel down as close as you can towards your bum and turn your hips in towards the pole. It should be airtight here at the back of your knee, so ensure that there's no gaps. Squeeze it down as hard as you can. It may hurt, but you'll get used to that. I promise you that that pain will pass. So to get back out, we're going to slide that leg up the pole, front, inside leg comes behind the pole, we're going to squeeze the knees together nice and tight. And then we'll just slide down from here. And we'll do it on the other side. So take your body around to the other side of the pole. I will do this for demo purposes, just to give you another angle so you can see better also. Inside hand low, outside hand goes on top. Pole comes in next to your armpit and ribcage area here. So open your legs, lifting your hips up as high as you can towards the pole. Turn your hips towards the pole and the outside leg goes around the pole, knee wrapping around nice and tight, other leg splitting away behind your ribcage balance. Check that it's airtight. There should be no gap, so if your leg starts to open, this is pretty bad. Make sure there is absolutely no gap. Let me just turn myself around to get a better view of that. Is that better? There we go. That's a little better now. So there should be no gap here at the back of your knee. Okay. So it's really important to get that mastered down here before you go and try it up in the air. It's crucial in an outside leg hang that your heel is clenched down towards your bum and there is no gap at the back of your knee. So let's try it standing. I'm going to come onto this side of the pole again. So taking your hips slightly in front, inside hand low, outside hand on top, pull your shoulders back and down, as you talked about previously with inverting. So we're going to lift up, opening your knees nice and wide, hips up to the pole as high as you can, straddle. Outside leg goes on and push your hips a little bit more up the pole. Split the other leg away from you immediately for counterbalance. Now leaving your hands on, we can adjust here and adjust the leg to make sure that you get nice and tight right here. Squeezing that knee as hard as you can down. Notice how there's no gap. If you're getting a bit of a gap, then turn your knee a little bit more over. Feel free to have a bit of a wriggle around if you need to. Get that knee up and over and squeezing it tight. It's okay to do that when you're learning, so that way you know the place where you need to get it in your knee pit. Now, from here, I'm going to slide my hands down a little bit in case my thigh is starting to squash them. So pull them down into a little gap between your legs here. When you feel confident with your knee grip, and only when you have it really solid, we're going to release the inside arm, taking it behind me. Second hand comes away, and both hands are off. Notice how the back of my shoulder on this inside arm is leading down into the pole, so that's giving me an extra contact point here. So make sure your arms don't go in front, you want to take them behind. That way we're maintaining that contact point at the back of the shoulder. Take it out, hands go back on in the gap. Outside leg goes on the pole, inside knee goes around, foot behind the pole. We turn back into a crucifix position, hands on the floor, and we'll dismount with the plank dismount all the way down. Nice and easy, with whatever pose you want to finish off with. Now, I'll go through some more tips here in case you're not at the stage yet where you're able to perfectly deadlift into your invert. As I mentioned before, that takes time to build up the strength to be able to do that flawlessly. So if you need to shove up the pole a little bit, here is how you can get around it and make your outside leg hang possible. This is fine when you're learning, but you don't want to let this become a habit. Eventually you want to deadlift into everything nice and smoothly, making it beautiful all the way through from start to finish. So, if you're struggling with your invert, you're going to lift up, feet on the pole. Notice how my hips are really low and away from the pole. I'm going to walk myself up the pole to push my hips about a little bit further. From here I have the space to get my outside leg around the pole, and I'm turning my knee and my hips towards the pole, splitting the other leg away. Okay, so we'll put the feet back on again, get out, back into crucifix pose, and slowly all the way down to the floor. So hopefully these tips will help you with your outside leg hang. Remember, you want to have that, so you want to have no gap at the back of your knee, so make sure that your knee pit is clenched really, really tightly around the pole with that outside leg. Also make sure that your hips are nice and high when you're getting into it. If your hips are very low, it's very, very difficult to get that leg up and over, to get the knee around. And turn your hips slightly towards the pole getting into it. If you have any questions on it, you can just shoot me an email or a text message or a Facebook message. Any way you like, except for carrier pigeon, I guess. Yeah, let me know how you get on with it. And of course, remember, do try it on the floor first of all, until you get really comfortable and you know exactly where you're going. Be safe, kids.